everyone to Sunshine Ladies and Unraveling Tales, where a group of bookish friends take you on our reading journey. We bring you TBR recommendations, exclusive bookish interviews, and event shenanigans. I'm Carrie, and on today's episode, I am joined by Nicki, Reid, and Steph. Join us in our excitement as we chat with our next author, Kaylee Smith, who will be attending the Romantic Book Convention in Orlando later this year. It's so nice to meet you, Kaylee. Thank you for taking time to chat with us today.
Oh my gosh, of course. It's so nice to meet all of you. This is one of my favorite things of the job, podcast.
We love that.
Yeah. We love it. So for anyone who is not already familiar with your work, tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you get into writing?
Yeah, so I am actually from a very small town in Louisiana, and I grew up being probably one of the only readers I knew. And I was just voracious from like a really young age. I loved all things books. And when I was about like 13 or 14, YA started really exploding. We got Twilight and The Hunger Games and Mortal Instruments. And I started joining online fandom spaces. Huge Tumblr and fanfiction.net ruled my life in high school.
Yes. I remember those days.
And I think there was just something that like clicked to me at that point. Like, this is what I want to do. Like, I want to create something that possibly got people online talking about my funny little worlds and things like that. And so I just always had it in the back of my head that I was going to be an author. And then life happened and I got married. I went to college. I got an art history degree. I started in creative writing, but I didn't love my MFA program. So I switched. And then COVID happened and I finally sat down and like finished my first full-length novel, and the rest is kind of history.
So when you had the feeling that you wanted to become an author, was that something that felt really tangible, or did it kind of feel like a really long dream? Like the dream was kind of far away, like you could see it, but it felt very far.
I'm not gonna lie to you, I like operate on mostly delusion, and there was no part of me ever that wasn't like, I'm not going to be an author. It was always very much, that's what I'm going to end up doing. I just literally don't know when. And I had been like, I've never stopped writing. I used to write really terrible vampire fanfics and all kinds of other stuff. And then I started writing my own like original things when I was about 16, 17, and I didn't stop, but I just was never able to like fully sit down and focus because, you know, again, I had to get through college and I had to get into my first 9 to 5 and learning how to like balance life and all of that when so much is going on in that beginning part of my life. And then I finally was just like, enough, like it's time. I'm ready to do this. And never once was I like, this is gonna possibly not work out. And that's just pure delusion. Like
it's manifesting.
Yeah. It was like absolutely could not work out. But like in my brain, I was like, no, it's gonna happen.
The best delusions end up manifesting something.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just feel like the world we live in right now, it's best to just live in your like Delulu fantasy world. Like that's where I'm safe. I'm cool right in the Delulu world. It's fine.
Yep.
Fair.
Yep.
So I was thrilled when everything kind of started to take off. I was like, oh great. I don't have to like tell everyone that I was wrong. I hate doing that.
So let's rewind to where everything all began. You know, every author has that spark of moment. What inspired your debut novel? Was it like paranormal settings, the characters, or was there like a specific scene that came first that sparked the entire?
So my actual debut novel was Aruna's Fate, which is the YA series that is about to be completed, which is crazy to say. I have always, I mean, growing up in Louisiana and like around New Orleans, I think the paranormal is just very rooted there. Like it's a very magical place. There's a lot of history tied to that. And so that series is about witches. I mean, it was always in my writing and emerging like sort of a more dark gothic place. I am a huge gothic novel fan. It was always my favorite subject, like when we did it in English class or when we covered it in art history. I definitely was always inspired by that and always knew that sort of would be where my career took off. And then Phantasma, which is my adult debut, but it's like, it's so funny because I really just feel like it's just a more me version of what I was writing with my YA debut. It's just what happened after my frontal lobe developed. And so, yeah, in a way, it's sort of just continuing all of the themes I wanted to talk about, but I was just able to be a little more graphic and get into more the mature side of those themes. And the sparks for Phantasma specifically were really Dante's Inferno. And again, just some of that literature that I love so much. I reread a lot of my favorite Poe poems and short stories while I was writing that. I love Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. Mary Shelley is the queen of sci-fi. So all of those things just sort of coming together to make one novel that is just very weird, but like very me. So yeah.
Love that.
I love that. Edgar Allan Poe is like one of my favorite poets ever. So
Yeah.
I was like, that's so cool. When I read Phantasma the first time and I was seeing these like different themes and I was like, oh my God, this is like so amazing, you know? It was so cool.
Yeah. And I loved getting to name Poe the cat and my real life cat, like sort of like an homage to that love. Annabelle Lee was, I think, one of the first things that ever really sparked something in my brain. I think I studied that in like 7th or 8th grade. And that was during the renaissance of me refinding my reading from when I was in elementary and early middle school. And so I was just like, oh my God, I think this just changed my brain chemistry.
Yeah, I agree though. The gothic worlds they speak true to my heart too. So when I hear that shadow voice creeping up and all the fun books, it's just like, oh, I love it so much.
Yeah, very telltale heart. Like it's just really funny because when I'm writing stuff, I'm like, everything you create art-wise is just the epitome of all the things that influenced you beforehand. And so it's really funny going back and reading my work and being like, girl, wow, all the influences have been there for so long.
That's so awesome.
And so, with the final installment for A Raging Heart right around the corner, bringing your long-running series to a close can be bittersweet. But how does it feel to wrap up something that's been such like a major project for you in your life?
Bittersweet is actually like the perfect word for it, to be honest. There's so much lore with my first series, as I think there is for many authors. I think sometimes when a book goes very viral, people think it's your first, or like you've never done much beforehand. But so many authors do not get big until sometimes their 10th book. Like honestly, this is very early in my career for Phantasma to have done what it did. I'm very grateful for it, but I wasn't expecting it, especially after releasing a YA series, and sort of like publishing is strange. The growth in it is very strange, and people might find a book 20 years after it's released and it's just sort of a waiting game. So I feel like that's what I've been kind of doing with the Heartless Fates and which is Dice series. And I think it's definitely something that is like the door is closed for me, and it's something I needed to write. And I started it when I was so young. I first had the concept for that book I was 16, and it sort of just developed over the years. And so seeing that and like getting to dedicate the last book to my younger self and being like, all the things you wanted to do, like you fully did it, was really emotional. And now I'm just sort of like 3 books ahead from like even Enchantra. So it's just so strange. It's like when it comes out, it's very nostalgic for me, but also I've moved ahead. It's like, I think looking back on your past work is just, I'm also like a better writer now.
So you're living in 2 different timelines ultimately.
Truly. I mean, I think that is the constant state of being an author, like living in the past and all the projects we have right now. Being 3 books ahead of whatever is currently releasing is always so strange.
A little jarring, I'm sure.
Yeah. Also remembering the books that you wrote I finished A Raging Heart 2 years ago.
Really? Okay.
I'm such a different writer now, which is really funny. So I think all of us get in this place of like, of course we want to recommend our work and tell people about it, but also all of us are like, God, don't read that. We're such better at the craft now. So it's just really funny.
So with that, like getting better and that growth as an author, did A Raging Heart change much from your original book, or how did it change from the original draft to the published version?
Okay, A Raging Heart is still by far the biggest book I've written. The project I'm working on currently might beat it, but it's a pretty chunky book, which makes sense because we're wrapping up a series and there's like a Fates War in it and all kinds of stuff. I would say it stayed pretty true to my outline. That whole series really did, with the exception of originally I thought maybe it would be 4 books, but then we decided to do a trilogy. So there were like a few random characters I think we cut and to make sure we got to flesh out because it's an ensemble cast. So a lot to juggle and balance there. But I think overall it stayed pretty true to the original story I wanted to tell. I think mostly if someone asked me if I could go back and rewrite that series, I think everything would just be longer. I think I have the craft and skills now to know how to keep a fast pace while doing more in-depth world building. And that is just something that grows as you write more books, you know? Yeah.
As I mentioned, I really love your ominous characters. So which of those came to you fully formed and which ones needed a lot more work that just kind of didn't feel fully ready?
I feel like in general, all of the main characters I have are usually pretty well formed by the time I start something. I think Rowan from Enchantra took so much, mostly because I'll tell you the dilemma. I am very aware as a reader, because first and foremost, I am a reader, of like trends in publishing are so easy to hit or miss, right? Because we're putting out books and we're writing books so far in advance and things like that. I know like the Shadow Daddies, like we really hit a peak. And then you're writing something that you just feel is like really true to whatever story you're telling. But then maybe readers are all of a sudden getting fatigued by the time that story gets to come out. And so I've gotten pretty good at trend forecasting and I never write towards a trend. I think that's always a mistake because chasing a trend almost never works out. So I think that's kind of why Phantasma worked out because I was like, I'm just going to write my little gothic story. It ended up releasing during like a huge spike of people wanting gothic romance, which I definitely thank Rachel Gillig for and all the other amazing gothic authors who were coming out with things at that time. I think when I was writing Rowan, I was like, oh God, people are going to be so tired of these like male characters with these shadow powers and also this balance of making him dark and brooding, but not boring. I'm sorry. I think male main characters can get boring so easily. It's funny because our FMCs get so much criticism, but the male main characters, I think a lot of times, I myself too, like I have to remind myself, like I cannot rest on the fact that this man is just really hot and has like a dirty mouth. So I really try to put myself in like, he has this sort of like tortured responsibility towards his family. He's not even the eldest son or anything, but he in a lot of ways feels like he's the only one capable of getting his family out of this situation and balancing that with keeping secrets, but also getting to know Genevieve and being a husband and having these shadow powers that I'm like, what's going to be different about these versus like maybe other things. So I try to always push myself in that way. And I think his character specifically was, I really, really worked on him the most. I think Genevieve and Ophelia and the shadow voice fully formed. So easy. Genevieve gave me hell because she's stubborn as heck. But I feel like I always knew who she was. Yeah. That was a very yappy, long-winded answer. I'm so sorry.
It was amazing. Complex characters are the best.
Yes.
You know, you want to see all those edges, the ones that drive you crazy, the ones that make you angry, the ones that inspire you or hit your heart in a certain way. So thank you. Yeah.
Can I ask, you said that you had Ophelia and the sisters fully formed and the shadow voice fully formed, but did you have the second sister kind of fully formed before you wrote her book? Or were you kind of like, by the end of Phantasma, you were like, this is her character and I know what I'm going to do for book 2?
Yeah, so I knew who Genevieve was and I sort of knew what her arc and her book already was. I actually know almost the entirety of the Wicked Game series. I really like intentionality in my books. For me personally, I really don't like writing myself into a corner. And I find sometimes maybe writing a book and then being like, and we can do a spinoff doesn't work for me as a writer very well because I feel like I end up getting to that second or third book and being like, where was I going? Or I wrote stuff into the canon that just doesn't work for the new arcs. So when I sat down to do the Wicked Games, I basically told my editor, I was like, here are all the possible books I can write in this series with all the character pairings. And then we started leaving Easter egg and breadcrumbs since Phantasma. So it's really funny to see fan theories and stuff because I know like the entire, and whether or not I'll get to publish 10
Giving reread.
Yeah.
It's like I don't know if I'll get to put them all out, but I like the idea with each one I've read. It was very intentional from the start. I knew the work cut out for me for Enchantress because I knew on the surface a lot of people were going to think Genevieve was annoying, and it's just I can see it coming from a mile away, the sort of things people will pick out. And so I was like, I knew when we got to Enchantra, her story, the way she felt as the sort of forgotten sister, there was a lot more to her there. And so I think I left little Easter eggs about Pharaoh, like in a random conversation that she and Ophelia had when they were just like walking through town, and little hints of like her forging their mother's checks, and just she felt a very different kind of responsibility than Ophelia. And I knew I was going to get to tell her story, but I was like, I need everyone to think that she's just impulsive and
Mm-hmm.
It's all about the point of view, right?
Yeah. Right. So every author has their own writing vibe, from chaos to cozy. What does your ideal workspace look like, or the conditions that bring you the most inspiration when you're writing?
Ooh, I like a room full of stuff. My office is being renovated, but all iterations of my office have always been, I love a trinket. I love a little guy hanging out somewhere.
Yeah.
So there is like stuff that I basically looks like an I Spy game, or if you've seen House Moving Castle, like his bedroom, there's just things. And I love that because I feel like my brain, I don't know what it is, but being able to see the chaos and then I focus in on the one stagnant thing in front of me, which is the book. And there's always Dr. Pepper nearby and like a little snack and one song playing on the background over and over again.
Oh, really?
Until it kind of becomes white noise. Like I pick a song that I think really encaptures the vibe that I'm going for the manuscript. Cool. And then I wear it out to death. My Spotify Wrapped every year is just...
You're in the top 1% of one song.
I would say it's like you listen to one song all year.
Yeah, it's 0.003%, like every time. It's so funny.
So then what were your songs for Phantasma and Enchantress?
Phantasma was Iris by the Goo Goo Dolls.
Okay.
That like very much that book. And then Enchantress was Labyrinth by Taylor Swift.
Okay.
Ooh. Okay.
I like the vibes.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So this can be book related or life related, whichever, but what's something that readers would be surprised to learn about you? It can be like a weird, funky fact.
I don't know if anyone's surprised anymore. I do think people meet me or have had experiences where they're like, you wrote Phantasma? Because like if you catch me in like the springtime, I'm like full pink glitter. Bubbly. Like,
I love that dichotomy.
I love it.
My house is pretty whimsical mostly. Like I do have like a slightly gothic cottagecore vibe in some places, but like for the most part, like I have my little knitted frog army and like
I love that.
That just tickles me how so much of a fashion icon you are, and you're also very just so like I love the vibe. You can go from fall theme, gothic inspired, and then whimsical cottagecore. It's so great.
Yeah. No, fully. It's just so funny because those are my two personalities. It's like bubblegum, Barbie movies like that, and then like me sitting in a dark corner watching. It's really in my fashion too. Like I am either full gothic academia sort of inspired looks, or again I'm just like in pink with glitter everywhere. So I think that's always surprising to people, also how much I love fashion and things like that. And it's so funny because on my Instagram I'm always like, I can stop posting this stuff because people are like, no, get back to the book.
That's your niche. Keep it going. I love it. Have you always loved fashion? Has that been a running thread?
I think that's like my two passions are books and clothes for sure. And so it's really fun for me. I love it so much, especially like as a plus size person. It is so hard to curate a wardrobe when you're plus size.
Yes.
Yeah, like I've worked so hard on it. So I'm like, yes, please, like my fashion, let me post about it.
I'm gonna have to DM you about your favorite places to shop because my hips are wide and my waist is smaller. And it's very hard to fit into bottoms.
Yeah, no, I know. It's like, and we all have like that sort
different
of
shapes.
shape sizes stuck quite frankly. And like the big box stores. And honestly, almost all of my stuff is curated from like an unhinged amount of searching on eBay and Poshmark and thrifting.
Fun.
Yeah.
Well, you do a great job at it.
Absolutely. So if we're going goth, in October is Romantasy BookCon down in Orlando, and we are super, super excited to actually get to meet you in person. And we know that you're going to be on the panel for the MMC in the library with the dagger.
Yeah.
So we're excited about that as well. You're going to speak about weaving mystery and intrigue into romantasy. Super excited. So what is one of the top things that you're looking forward to, either with the panel or with the event as a whole?
I was there last year and it was so much fun. The vibes of this one were just really, really good. It's actually, I'm really good friends with Adeline Grace. She's going to roll her eyes because I mentioned her on yet another podcast. That is the first place we ever hung out. Yeah. We're like in the same city too, which is really funny. Yeah. But the first time we ever hung out was there and the vibes were just really good. We both really enjoyed ourselves. So we were super excited to go back this year. And I'm just excited to see the other authors and the readers. And I think a con is just, that's like the best part of the job because you're like on the ground and you actually get to hang out with people because honestly, writing is very solitary. So it's like every time I get to do an event, it's like other human beings finally.
With a lot of passion too. I mean, everyone's there to share so much passion and have a good time. It's kind of like a fever dream.
Yeah. All the cosplays and the art. Like, also, I will be down on the floor shopping at the one thing I love is spending money on books and bookish things. So yeah, it's always me like walking around causing a ruckus because I just
adorable.
Like, to buy stuff. And they're like, girl, you have a panel in 5 minutes. And I'm like, get one more thing.
Wait.
Like, yeah, it's, I usually just honestly send my husband and I give him like a list of things and I'm like, just go.
That's awesome.
I love that.
Judgment.
Yeah.
I remember last year I watched the panel that you and Adeline Grace did, and I was like, this is so cool because I'm more of like a romance only reader type thing, but I was getting into fantasy and stuff. So it was really cool to see the different ways that everything was. So it was actually really interesting. And that's where I found your book actually first. And I was like, I have to read that, add it to the TBR. And then I read it and I was like, life changed, love it, obsessed. So.
Oh gosh, that's so cool. Yeah, you see, this is what I mean. It's like we do these panels and it's like, so we had so much fun on that panel. And then we saw, like, we didn't ask. They put us on another one this year and both of us are like, haha. I can't wait. That's so cool.
This will be my first convention. I'm really excited.
Mine too.
I'm afraid to go to all these panels and then all of a sudden I'm going to have to meet every single person that I listen to and then it's going to change my whole schedule.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. That is a thing because I'll do that too. I'll go look and I'm like, oh, they were really funny. We have to go say hi. But it's okay because I feel like those particularly are really well set up because you can just walk to the booths. So you sort of hit everyone. I know I'm doing like a ticketed line this year, but like even that, you go do your ticketed things. And I feel like I have like the process down at this point because I also need to see everybody.
Is there anyone that you're really excited to meet?
I mean, I feel like at this point, everyone that I'm like incredibly excited for, I have DM'd or like it's. I think that has been the most exciting part about being an author. I need to go look at the list though, because if I'm honest, I think I have like 6 cons this year, and sometimes my brain is like, who is going to be where? So, but I'm really excited every time like I see. I'm like always fan of people myself, so that's fun.
Can you share any behind the scenes sneak peeks on what you're working on coming up and maybe even like what the process is like for you packing up at the convention, getting ready for it?
So like books that I'm working on, I am drafting Wicked Games 3. I love it so much. It's definitely my favorite so far, which is really fun because I cried the entire time through Enchantra. And then it ended up being like, I love that book so much, but that was a process to get there. But this one is like instantly like, I love it. And then I'm working on a secret project that I also love so much. So I can't wait to be able to like talk about that more. And then, yeah, going to a convention, like packing up all my things. First of all, I am a chronic overpacker. So I do show up with like 2 suitcases and way too many outfits. And I'm usually on deadline. So all of my writing equipment with me. Sometimes I take the boys, the cutouts of Blackwell and Rowan, and it just
do it.
Yes. Right.
Fun. Awesome.
But yeah,
Too bad they're not foldable, so you can just put them in a suitcase.
they do fold.
They do fold?
They fold like in half though, and I'm like, this helps nobody. So just the awkwardness on a plane. I wish they went further in, because then I could just like slip them under a seat or something. Yeah, alas. One day maybe I'll buy them plane tickets. That'd be really funny.
Oh man,
that's too funny. One here.
That'll creep people out.
You don't have to share the seat with anybody else. It's, doubling
or like, I'm chilling.
Yeah.
In between your men.
Right. Just casually put yourself in between the two.
Yeah. The problem is when we keep getting more, I'm like, oh, then yeah, I'm gonna have to start picking people's favorites, like doing polls. Who do you want me to bring?
Do you have a dream collab? It could be with another author, artist, or even a franchise. Is there anyone that you would love to collab with?
I mean, I really, really wish someone would let me write actual Danny Phantom IP. I think I should be the first one they call, but I think that'd be fun. I do have some collabs I can't talk about because then I'm like spoiling them, but yeah, I'm always looking for new artists and things like that. I love commissioning art too for books, and I hope maybe to co-write something someday would be really, really fun with a friend. But
like Adeline. Just saying. No, that'd be cool.
That would be a lot of fun.
That would be cool.
You guys could ever do that.
The two of us together are so funny because we're like, oh, we're gonna work, and then we meet up and we do not work. We just
Yeah, no, literally.
Yeah.
Honestly, that was us yesterday. We were like, today's deadline is we're going to talk about what the plan is for RBC, and every 5 minutes, 2 of us would like sneak off and like have another chat, or someone would be like, hey, can we do cake, or hey, can we do this? It's like, and then we're like, no, and Reid's like the mom of the group. She's like, focus, get back in, let's do it.
Yeah, it's like, truly, I don't even know what we're thinking half the time. So I'm like, we're totally gonna work. We never work. Yeah,
what a fun friendship.
Yeah,
I love that.
The thing about like being author friends, it's so nice. Like when you like bounce ideas off of and stuff like that. But when you're on deadline, it's a nightmare. Like you cannot be together because none of us are gonna do anything.
You'll mute them.
Yeah.
I'm muting you for 2 full days. Don't text me.
Love you, but don't answer me for 2 days. Okay, bye.
Yeah.
All right. So I kind of want to go back to something you had said earlier. Like when obviously your first series you wrote, when Phantasma kind of blew up unexpectedly, did you ever think like you would see so many like fan arts and cosplays and commissions and things like that? Like what has like seeing all that kind of stuff, what has that been like for you?
A little mind blowing. I mean, it's like the hope, right? Like you always, but I don't think there's any possible preparing for it. And obviously it was not overnight, but at some point it felt like it was overnight. And like, if I'm honest, it's a little overwhelming at points because all of a sudden you're a public figure and I'm not just posting my silly little things for like my little 2,000 followers anymore. Suddenly I have 40,000 eyes on me and I'm like, I have to possibly not post my street or my husband's face or whatnot. And my family also, it's just very strange, but in like all the good ways too. So I think like seeing that stuff is just mind blowing because I remember being the person who like made shirts and art and going visit my favorite authors on tour. And I traveled for one of them. My mom drove me like 6 hours and it's just, now people fly cross country for me. And I'm like, oh God, like it's, it's so surreal. It's really, really hard to wrap my head around. And I always say, I am not famous or anything like that. Explaining to my family, I'm like, I am possibly well known in real specific spaces. And it's when I'm in those spaces, like at Comic-Con, getting recognized and people stopping and asking for photos. And my husband's like smiling ear to ear. And I'm just like, this does not happen to me. Like I'm like, and I'm such a dork, and I think that's also like surprises people, but like, this is new for me too. So I think the biggest thing for me is just people actually getting to talk about my stories and my characters who I love so dearly with people who honestly probably know the books better than me at this point. That's wild. People get tattoos.
Yeah.
Each time somebody gets a tattoo, I won't lie, I like spiral a little bit because I'm like, oh my God, I hope I never disappoint you. I hope you never hate me. Like, oh my God, it's permanently on your body. But yeah, it's mind blowing.
Well, they could never put that on you. That's on them. So don't hold on to their guilt.
But I mean, there's so many of them are so beautiful. I'm like, hold on, maybe I want that. But yeah, it's such a surreal experience, and literally nothing can prepare you for it. Like, you can dream about it and all that stuff, but I feel like even in the place where like my husband and I can take care of our families now, which wouldn't have even been possible before this year.
Yay.
Yeah,
So cool.
and so it's just like it's just wild.
What has been the most surprising reaction that you've gotten from a fan?
I mean, I get so many letters thanking me for the OCD representation in Phantasma. And I think when I wrote it, I usually get the, was it hard to be vulnerable, or like, was it hard to talk about? And it really wasn't. I've been diagnosed with it since I was 6. It felt very natural. I actually cut so much of it back for storytelling purposes. So I was just, and I also knew like the risk that comes with writing anything that's like a very personal experience is some people not taking it well. So I was just sort of bracing myself for like that aspect of it as well, but knowing that I did the story I want to tell justice to me. And so the overwhelming response of fans who come up to me who tell me like they left bad relationships because they read the book, or they realized that they might have OCD because they read the book, or like they understand their partners who have OCD better, has been
Wow. I have chills.
Yeah, it's just that, and it's like, it's funny because sometimes I'll joke like I wrote like a silly little like sexy ghost book, but I really, really did want to try to balance it with something that was super meaningful to me. I feel that way about all of my books, and so it's really lovely that people have gotten to have such a good time with it, but it also means a lot to them. So yeah.
Those parts were so just raw and emotional, and it really truly felt that you knew from experience. You knew the world of it so well. Man, it really just felt so intrigued by how raw it was.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
All right, Kaylee, we all want to jump into our favorite fantasy worlds. So what magic would you wield?
Ooh, okay. I think I would really like to be a specter. I think it would be so fun to just disappear whenever I wanted. Like, yeah. I'm like, oh my gosh, I would take
I'm
me
outta
and
here.
my little cat, and we would just go nap somewhere. Or like, honestly, not having to wait in line would be really cool. Like, imagine you just disappear for a second. And then you get on a roller coaster and you're like, I was always here. I don't know. As much as necromancy intrigues me, and I know a lot about it because I grew up around a lot of that sort of lore, I don't want to raise the dead. I think that's too much responsibility. And I think being a devil would be kind of boring because I think the instant gratification would eventually I wouldn't like it. Yeah. It's awesome. I have
Which of your characters have hijacked the plot or come out more unhinged than expected?
I think 7 really hijacked Enchantra for me. I knew I wanted to flesh out fleshing out 7 siblings in one book. There's only so much room. So I know some people we're going to have to kind of take a little bit of a backseat. So we get a touch of Remy and sort of rift with his twin, and we get a touch of Wells. But I was really in my head, I'm going to flesh out Ellen and Grave the most in that book. And then 7 just walked on the page and was like, nah. And so I love him so dearly. He's so funny to me. Because he's a different sort of tortured jokester than Blackwell, even because Blackwell didn't have memories, right? So it's his torture could only go so deep. He knew he was I'm tired of this, grandpa. He also didn't know enough about himself to be really emo about it. So 7's really fun because he has this sort of very charming mask on, but he is dying inside, which I love.
Yeah, I hate it here.
Yeah. Like, she's like, what are you doing? It's a party. And he's like, let me pine. Yeah, I think him, also like Umbra stole the show a little bit for me. I don't mean to like put animals and everything, but it kind of happens because I love animals so much. And Umbra was sort of just an extension of Rowan. She had metaphorically, I was like, she has a job to do, but then she became just so cute and fun to write, and the little scenes, and I feel like she kind of took over some of the pages. So.
That's awesome.
I'm good with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't kill her, so everyone's welcome.
Thank you.
Yay, we love to hear it. All right, what part of the writing process lights your soul on fire? World building, the emotional arcs, or crafting jaw-dropping moments?
Ooh, I mean, I think world building, like the magic systems and character building are equally my favorites. I feel like I'm relatively character driven, but I know that the world and the plot are vehicles for the romance that I write. And so they really go hand in hand with each other. I think in order to write a successful romance, you have to build a very grounded world for the character to move through. So I had so much fun, especially with Phantasma, getting to write like the little snippets of Louisiana we got to see, because I just know it very, very well. And I knew all of the parts of Ophelia that would sort of shape. And so you have this plot that's like basically a vehicle to barrel her towards Blackwell. And I think that part was equally as fascinating for me to write as like their little stolen kisses and their never-ending back and forth.
I loved that Louisiana, New Orleans setting. That was another element that was very, very loud but rich.
Oh, I appreciate that. Yeah. It's really funny because people are like, we didn't get to see enough of New Orleans, but I have to like explain, like, it wasn't set in New Orleans because that was the point. The point was Phantasma. Like, we got those little pieces, like those rich little pieces of my home because I'm from there. Otherwise, I mean, you know, it could have been set, you know, numerous other places, but I definitely, because that was very homegrown for me, it was really fun to grow Ophelia and Genevieve there. So I'm so glad other people like it too, because one thing I can do is talk about Louisiana food and architecture and the trees.
All right. So we're going to play a fun kind of lightning round of this or that. So I'm going to give you two options. Just pick one, choose one. So devil or phantom?
Devil.
Physical read or Kindle read, e-read?
Physical.
Keyboard or pen and paper?
Keyboard.
Sprayed edges or page overlays?
Page overlays.
Whoa.
Coffee or tea?
Tea.
Me too, honestly. Me too.
Same.
Bookstagram or book club?
Oh, I love both.
Yeah.
I love Bookstagram though. I really do. I think that's the millennial in me.
No, fate or free will?
In books, fate. In real life, free will.
Fair.
Yeah.
That's totally fair. Yes.
Yeah. I'm a tea drinker too. I like boba teas especially. So.
Oh, boba and chai
Yes.
are my weakness.
Girl,
Yeah.
yes.
They make it chai boba?
There's my heart.
I don't drink coffee at all. So my only caffeine comes from chai tea and Dr. Pepper.
Yeah.
And that is the only thing that keeps me up sometimes on deadline.
Does chai boba even exist?
Yeah, you can get like chai milk tea with brown sugar boba. Listen.
Okay. I should
You know
try it.
it.
I'll try it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Give it a try.
Yeah, I'll take you, Steph. All right. If you could cross over one of your books with any other romantic universe, which one would you choose?
Ooh, okay. I really think a Phantasma Howl's Moving Castle, like a gothic Howl's Moving Castle universe, would be really fun.
I love that.
Ooh.
That would be good.
Yeah, that would
Like,
be.
It's like whimsy goth, right?
I can see it. I can see it. It's great.
That's very you.
Great.
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
It is.
My two like things.
Yep.
No.
And now, yeah.
Now, I'm a big emo person, so I have to say, chapter 37 struck a chord with me. It blends grief and love and second chances in a way that deepens the idea of forbidden romance. And there's that powerful moment where the healing unfolds through the afterlife, from the afterlife. What was that scene? Was it as cathartic for you as it was for me to read it?
Yeah, I mean, I think when we're talking about really broad themes like that, I try to be in capturing of different walks of life and sort of where people are approaching it. Some people are reading my books from open wounds, and some people are reading it from the vantage point of the scar, like this, it's already scabbed. And so when I go into stuff, I'm like, where do I sit in this place, and how am I feeling about it from a third party perspective? And I think it, like, when I come out of it, if I feel very like refreshed, I feel like I've sort of left everything on the page, and that's a really good feeling. But sometimes things linger, and I'm like, okay, I need to revisit this. I need to see where the closure can come from. So grief is one of those things, and specifically for these characters, like the nuance of grief when you know there's an afterlife is so different from
Loved
us,
it.
right? Like,
Yeah.
it's
That was really
yeah.
fun to explore in your book.
Right.
Phantasma.
It's sort of this idea that necromancers don't even really have funerals, and most immortals don't either, because they're aware that there's an afterlife and there's always the possibility of more. And so that scene, I really wanted it to feel like this is sort of it in the best way that these characters who know there's more out there can conceptualize this being final.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your time with us today. Where can readers keep up with all things Kaylee Smith?
So mostly on my Instagram. I think I'm most active. I can't stop talking there, but you can follow me on Instagram and TikTok and Threads at Kale's Moon, which is a ridiculous handle, but I made it forever ago. And I was like, this is just the vibe now. And then I do have a website, KaylieSmithBooks.com, and I do try to keep it as updated as possible. So
Yay.
Thank you so much for chatting with us today. Readers, if you haven't yet, please go grab a copy of Phantasma, Enchanter, or Ruinous Fate. Trust us, you'll be enchanted. Stay tuned for what's up next on Sunshine Ladies Unraveling Tales, where we'll be interviewing author Penn Cole. Don't go making any bargains with the devils in the meantime, listeners. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.